welcome you. Today we're taking a deep dive into some really fascinating material you've shared. It's all about how to build, adapt, and, well, hire for an AI team in this landscape that's changing so fast.
It really is.
And we've got some great insights here from Denis Linkov of WiseDocs. He's been right there in the thick of it, navigating these exact challenges.
Yeah, it's such a crucial topic now, wouldn't you say? I mean, you see companies everywhere, Shopify, Duolingo, Zapier, they're all saying we're AI first.
Right. Big declarations.
Huge. And so this deep dive, it should really help us unpack what that means for hiring, the new expectations, and especially that big question, do you hire a person first or maybe an AI agent?
That's authority one.
And also tackle that perception, that kind of fear that AI might mean the extinction of the software engineer, which is quite a statement.
It really is. So, yeah, our mission today is basically to give you a shortcut to understanding the anatomy of a modern AI team. What does it look like? And what about the role of the generalist? That seems increasingly important. And, of course, the key things to think about when hiring.
The strategy behind it all.
Exactly. So let's just jump right in. What does it really take to structure and affect your AI team when everyone's aiming to be AI first? And how does your company, like its core business, shape that?
Well, what's fascinating and what Linkov really drills down on is exactly that, how the type of company you are fundamentally changes the AI team you need. It's not one size fits all.
Okay.
He breaks it down into three main groups. First, you've got your technology companies. Think big tech, startups. Tech is their core product, their value.
Right. The Googles, the Metas, or the hot new AI startup.
Exactly. Now, their challenge, perhaps surprisingly, often isn't the tech itself. It's a lack of deep domain knowledge. They might build amazing things, but struggle to connect them to real business needs.
Ah, so misalignment can happen easily.
Very easily. And to fix that, they typically have to buy data or expertise. Maybe they get a vendor to provide labeled data, for example.
That makes a lot of sense. They have the engineering down, but need the context.
Precisely. Then the second group, verticalized solutions or services companies. Think Palantir or Linkov's own company, WiseDocs. For these companies, Linkov says it's kind of high stakes. Either things go really, really well, or they can go awfully poorly.
Wow, okay. Why such extremes?
Because their success absolutely hinges on getting both the deep domain knowledge and the technology perfectly aligned. It's a tighter integration.
Got it. And the third type?
The third type is tech-enabled companies. So here, tech isn't the main product, but it's crucial for transforming their operations. Think banks, big retailers, maybe SMBs.
So companies using tech to get better at what they already do.
Exactly. And their challenge, it's usually a fundamental tech challenge because historically, tech wasn't their primary focus, right? So they typically end up buying technology maybe through service providers or off-the-shelf solutions.
Okay, this distinction feels really important because it leads right into this, well, pretty provocative argument Linkov makes, doesn't it?
It does.
He asks, in any of these scenarios, is technology really the thing holding us back? Is it the limitation?
Yeah, and his answer is pretty surprising. He argues, quite compellingly actually, that we probably have something like 90% of the technology we need right now to solve most of humanity's big problems.
90%.
Yeah. 90%. But the adoption, that's the bottleneck. It's agonizingly slow. I mean, think about it. The fax market, it's still growing in some places.
No way, really. Facts.
Yep. And archaic payment systems are still huge globally. And maybe the most striking example, it took 40 years, 4 decades, for medical systems and electronic medical records to really go digital after the internet was widely available.
40 years.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So what does that tell us then? What's the real takeaway?
It tells us it's usually not about the shiny new tech itself. It's about how we use it, how we integrate it, how we get people to adopt it. And that understanding, that should directly shape how you think about building your team. Linkov points out a common mistake, especially after, the whole ChatGPT explosion.
Everyone wanted an AI researcher.
Exactly. That knee-jerk reaction. We need an AI researcher now.
But Linkov makes a really strong case that hiring a specialized researcher often isn't the smartest first move.
Why not? Seems counterintuitive with all the hype.
Well, unless you're at a significant scale, or you have a very specific, super complex problem that nothing else can solve. Free models, or models you can easily fine-tune, they can often provide a ton of value right away.
Get you started. Solve immediate problems.
Right. Don't hire the specialist until you know you need that very specific, deep expertise.
Which leads to this other really interesting idea he introduces, Ampere's wager. What's that about?
Yeah, it's a riff on Pascal's wager, the philosophical bet on belief. Ampere's wager puts a tech spin on it. He asks, would you trade your current team, the one with all that valuable domain knowledge, the experience, the customer understanding?
Your existing functioning team.
Yes. Would you trade them for, say, 5 brilliant AI researchers straight out of top labs like FAIR or DeepMind?
That's a tough question. What's the point he's making? The point is priorities. A truly effective AI team isn't just about research breakthroughs. It needs to do a whole lot more.
Like what?
Well, it needs to define the actual use cases that matter. It needs to integrate the AI smoothly into existing products. It needs to measure the ROI, figure out if it's actually working.
Okay, the practical stuff.
The practical stuff. Finding the right data, testing workflows, refining them, building interfaces people can actually use, and critically, selling the product, making customers understand and want it.
Right, that whole chain.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a one-person job and certainly not just a researcher's job.
Not at all. So ultimately, Linkoff says you have to identify your bottleneck first. What's holding you back right now?
Is it shipping features fast enough? Getting users? Keeping them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or monetization, scalability issues, reliability. Figure that out first.
And that priority list tells you who to hire.
Precisely. As he puts it, what kind of team do you need? And only you know that answer. It's context dependent.
Okay, so if the landscape varies by company type, and tech isn't always the bottleneck, let's talk about the people. You mentioned generalists. Linkoff seems to be a big proponent of them, right?
He really is, and he speaks from experience. Think back to 2021. He built his first ML team, which, as you said, quickly became an AI team at a conversational AI company.
And they had some pretty ambitious goals, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. Really tough goals. They needed to serve hundreds of thousands of concurrent models, be multi-domain, keep costs low, and support real-time training and serving. That's a tall order.
Definitely. How did they tackle that?
Well, they ended up creating a custom MLOps platform, the whole operational backbone for managing models in production.
Right, MLOps.
They mostly fine-tuned encoder models. Those are good for understanding text. And they built RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, as a service.
Oh, RAG. That's huge now for making LLMs more reliable.
Absolutely. It helps them pull in external info, avoids those hallucinations. Now, Linkoff knew they had budget constraints. They couldn't just hire world-class experts for everything.
Makes sense. Few companies can.
So he focused the team on 3 key areas. First, model training. They set a bar for using general architectures, fine-tuning encoders, and solid data engineering, often using tools like Hugging Face.
So leveraging existing tools and techniques smartly.
Exactly. Second was model serving. Now, Linkoff himself, with his cloud background, actually built the initial ML platform. But the key was, subsequent hires didn't need to be Kubernetes wizards rebuilding everything. They needed to use the abstractions he'd built, understand the trade-offs, but not necessarily the deep plumbing.
So generalists who could work with the system, not necessarily build it from scratch.
Precisely. And the third area, which he really emphasizes, was business acumen.
Getting engineers talking to customers.
Yes. He insisted engineers get on customer calls, understand the pain points directly, no coding in a basement allowed, basically. They needed that context.
That seems like a culture shift for some engineering teams.
It can be, but he saw it as crucial. Now, fast forward to 2024, building a new team at WiseDocs. He used a similar generalist approach, but things had changed again.
How so? What was different?
Well, the open source landscape had evolved significantly. Things like shadow deployments, A/B testing platforms, they were much more readily available.
So less need to build custom tooling.
Right. They could leverage commercial APIs more easily, do prompt tuning, fine-tune commercial models instead of always building from scratch. Their scope also broadened to decoder models as well as encoders. And critically, they didn't need to write their own serving platform this time.
Interesting. So the generalist role adapted to the new toolset available.
Exactly. But what's also fascinating is that the bar for domain knowledge went way up because they're dealing with complex medical records at WiseDocs.
So the type of general knowledge needed shifted.
It did. And it highlights that skills don't all need to live in one person. You can distribute expertise across the team, have someone strong here, someone else strong there.
Linkoff talks about inner and outer loops for team goals, right? Can you unpack that?
Yeah, it's a useful framework. The inner loops are kind of the daily grind, the activities you need to nail consistently for success. execution stuff.
Like model training, serving.
Exactly. Model training, prompting, defining requirements, serving models reliably, working with domain experts, building the business case. That's the nucleus for his current team.
And the outer loops.
The outer loops are broader, more strategic. They're the activities that really differentiate your company long term. Maybe exploring entirely new AI approaches, forging key partnerships, that kind of thing.
Okay. So if we connect that back, what happens if those loops are weak?
Well, if your technical inner loop is weak, you're just going to struggle with execution. You can't get things done reliably.
Makes sense.
And if your domain inner loop is weak, like you don't understand the business or the customer, you'll fail to find product market fit. You might build cool tech, but nobody actually needs it.
Right. So this brings up that generalist versus specialist question again. When do you lean which way?
Linkoff's take is pretty clear. Generalists are key early on. When you're exploring, trying to find that initial fit, making basic progress, they can wear multiple hats.
They're adaptable.
Highly adaptable. Specialists, they become crucial later, once you've figured out the basics and you need that extra 5% performance boost, or you hit a really gnarly specific problem that needs deep expertise.
So for most companies doing AI transformation now, generalists are probably the better bet initially.
He argues yes, absolutely. Because they can do more than just code. They can adapt, learn the domain, talk to users. They're built for navigating that initial uncertainty. So as we're all kind of navigating this AI wave, Linkoff points out 3 really crucial things that everyone on an AI team needs to learn or maybe relearn. It doesn't matter what your title is.
Okay. Well,
First, learn to build. And what he means is moving beyond just waiting for static requirements documents.
right.
Get comfortable building functional prototypes quickly.
Right.
Shorten that feedback loop with product managers, with engineers. Get something tangible out fast.
More iterative, less waterfall.
Exactly. Second, become a domain expert. And this is huge. It's not just about domain experts giving input anymore.
What does it mean then?
It means those experts need to be directly involved in writing use cases, defining them, and critically, having enough AI literacy to actually work with the LLMs, understand what they can and can't do.
So they're co-creating, almost.
Yes, precisely. They need that practical understanding. And third, be human-facing.
We touched on this, engineers talking to customers.
Absolutely. Get on those calls, shorten the feedback loop, truly understand the user's world, not just the Jira ticket. Linkoff even says if your engineers resist talking to customers, that's a big red flag. It's a learning opportunity.
It really underscores this need for constant learning, doesn't it? The whole field is moving so incredibly fast.
Unbelievably fast. Linkoff's team actually has weekly 30-minute learning sessions on new topics just baked into their rhythm.
30 minutes a week. That seems manageable, but impactful.
Yeah, and his point is the cost of not doing it, it's far, far higher than the effort involved. You just fall behind too quickly. I mean, he mentioned evaluation cycles shifting from yearly to maybe every 6 months now.
Wow. Half a year feels like an eternity sometimes in AI right now.
Doesn't it? So how do they make sure it's not just reactive? It's about building it in, making it a habit, a core part of the culture. Staying current is the job.
Okay, so learning is constant. But when do you actually decide, okay, we need another person? When do you hire?
Linkoff boils it down to 2 main reasons. You hire to hold context, and you hire to act on context.
Hold context and act on context. Okay, explain that.
If you have too few people, important information, crucial context about projects, customers, tech, it just gets dropped. Things fall through the cracks.
Right, you lose institutional knowledge or current awareness.
Exactly. And then, even if you have the context, you need enough people to actually act on it, to execute on the priorities. Too few people, and you just can't move things forward.
So capacity for both knowing and doing.
Precisely. Now, AI agents, with their massive context windows, they can help hold context. They can retrieve information.
Sure.
But you still need humans. You need human expertise to verify if that information is actually correct, to synthesize complex stuff, and, crucially, to take accountability.
Accountability. That's key.
It is. Linkoff brings up that old IBM quote, "We can't hold a machine accountable." You need people for that.
That definitely brings us back to the practicalities, especially hiring on a budget. You mentioned researchers are expensive.
Extremely expensive, typically, a
Yeah.
top tier one anyway. Whereas a good generalist AI engineer, they'll likely be quite a bit cheaper and potentially offer broader value sooner, especially early on.
And it's important not to just follow trends blindly, right? Like that idea floating around that you shouldn't hire junior engineers for AI.
Yeah, he pushes back on that. If that were true, why is Y Combinator a top startup accelerator running an AI school for 2,000 young people.
Good point. What does that signal?
It signals that there is value in new talent and people eager to learn the latest stuff. You need to think from first principles, he argues. Meaning, what does your team, your situation actually need right now? Is it fresh grads? Is it seasoned pros? Is it maybe retraining some of your existing folks?
Don't just copy what Google or OpenAI is doing.
Exactly. And when you interview, ask relevant questions. Forget the pointless leak code puzzles, especially now that LLMs can often solve them anyway.
Right. What should you ask instead?
Focus on real problem solving, adaptability. Can they learn? Do they grasp the domain? That's much more valuable.
So, circling back to Ampère's wager one last time, where does Linkoff land? Team or researchers?
For his specific context at WiseDocs, dealing with complex medical data, he's unequivocal. He'd take the team with deep domain expertise, the ability to sell, the customer empathy, over 5 pure researchers any day.
The well-rounded team wins for him.
Yes. And he even throws out another thought experiment for later, Blackwell's wager. Named after the NVIDIA chip, presumably. GPUs or a team. Which investment pays off more?
Ooh, another provocative one. Maybe for another deep dive.
Maybe so. But it again highlights that tension between pure tech power and human capability. So if we try and pull all these threads together, what are the main lessons from this deep dive?
I think 3 things really stand out.
Okay.
First, and maybe most importantly, you absolutely have to understand what kind of team you need to win. For your specific company, your market, your challenges, don't just follow the herd.
Know thyself, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Know your context.
Yeah.
Second, cross-functional teams. They're still going to be effective.
Yeah.
Very effective.
Yeah.
But how they're structured, how they collaborate, that's going to change.
How so?
There'll be a much greater overlap in skills. Everyone, regardless of role, will have the opportunity and probably the expectation to work directly with AI systems, understand them, leverage them. It blurs the lines a bit.
More T-shaped or even comb-shaped people.
Could be, yeah. More breadth alongside the depth. And third, this isn't really new, but it's amplified now. Continuous learning. It's just not optional anymore.
Table stakes. Absolute table stakes. It's a must to keep pace with how fast AI is evolving. If you stand still, you're falling behind rapidly.
Yeah, this deep dive really hammered that home. It shows that building an AI team, it's so much more than just getting the smartest tech people in a room.
Definitely.
It's about strategy. It's about understanding the domain deeply. And it's really about fostering human adaptability, human connection, both within the team and with customers.
Well said.
So what stands out most to you listening, for me, maybe the most provocative idea to chew on is this. In this AI-first world we're entering, could that ability to adapt, to learn constantly, and to truly deeply understand a customer's problem, could that actually become more valuable than having the absolute most cutting-edge, specialized technical skill?
Adaptability over peer specialization.
Yeah. It's certainly something worth mulling over, isn't it?